It was a bright morning in New York City. The streets were full of live people walking, laughing, drinking coffee, and rushing to work like every other day. No one knew that this morning would change human history forever. At 9:42 a.m., something strange appeared in the sky. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't a cloud. It was huge, dark and metallic, floating high above the city. Within minutes, thousands of people stopped what they were doing and looked up. The object was silent at first. But then, a deep hum rolled across the city, shaking windows and making the ground tremble. A boy standing on the street pointed upward and shouted, "Mom, what is that?" All across America, the same thing happened. Massive ships appeared over Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, and more. Each one was miles wide, casting shadows that swallowed entire cities. News channels went crazy. Helicopters filmed the skies as anchors tried to stay calm, but their voices shook with fear. In the Pentagon, top military officials were already gathering. Captain Ryan Carter, a decorated Navy officer, watched the footage with disbelief. "Those aren't meteors," he said quietly. "They're ships." Within minutes, every military base in the country went on alert. Fighter jets scrambled into the air. Ground defenses were activated. But deep down, everyone knew they were not ready for this. Ryan was ordered to report to Command Center 7, a high-security bunker under Colorado. When he arrived, the air was tense. Generals, scientists, and intelligence officers stood around glowing screens showing live footage of destruction around the world. The aliens made their first move. From the ships, blue light beams shot down toward the cities. Buildings exploded. Entire blocks disappeared in fire. Communication networks went silent. The power grid failed. Within an hour, more than a dozen cities were in ruins. In New York, people ran through the streets screaming. Cars crashed. The sky burned. "Jesus," Ryan whispered, staring at the destruction on the monitor. "What are they doing?" A scientist beside him said, "They're targeting population centers. They're not here to talk." The president's voice came over the intercom. "All forces, hold positions. Evacuate civilians. We'll try to communicate." But communication never came. Instead, a deep, metallic voice echoed across radio frequencies worldwide, a language not human. Then, suddenly, English words broke through. "This planet is claimed. Resistance will be erased." The room went silent. Ryan's heart pounded. "Sir," he said to the general. "If they wanted peace, they wouldn't start with fire." The general nodded grimly. "You're right. We need to move to Stage 7. Ryan frowned. "Stage 7? The general looked at him for a long second. Then he said, "You weren't supposed to know about this." "Not yet." He handed Ryan a sealed envelope. "Your new orders, Captain Carter. You're being reassigned immediately. Destination classified." Ryan opened the envelope. Inside was a single line. "Report to Facility H13. Code, Horizon." He looked up, confused. "What's Project Horizon?" The general only said, "The world isn't as unprepared as it looks." Ryan didn't have time to ask more. He was rushed to a small aircraft that took off under heavy fire. The pilot said nothing. Outside the window, Ryan could see cities burning far below. He clenched his fists. "If this is the end," he thought, "we're going down fighting." After several hours, the aircraft descended into the mountains of Colorado. They landed near a huge rock wall with no visible entrance. The pilot tapped a code into a panel, and the mountain itself seemed to open like a door. Ryan stepped out, staring in shock. Hidden inside the mountain was a massive steel facility, glowing with white lights and guarded by armed soldiers. He was led through a long tunnel until he reached an elevator that went deep underground. When the doors opened, Ryan froze. Before him stretched a hangar the size of a city filled with enormous silver starships. Their hulls shimmered with strange blue energy. Engineers and pilots worked everywhere, preparing for launch. A woman in a white lab coat approached him. She looked calm but determined. "Captain Carter." "Yes," he said. "Who are you?" "Dr. Emily Cross," she replied. "Welcome to Project Horizon." Ryan looked around in disbelief. "What is this place?" Dr. Cross smiled faintly. "This is humanity's best kept secret. For 30 years, we've been building something the world wasn't ready to know about." She walked him to a large window overlooking the hangar. After the first alien signals were detected decades ago, the government started this project. We used what little alien tech we could recover, to build our own fleet. Ryan's eyes widened. "You're saying we already had alien technology?" Dr. Cross nodded. "Yes. We knew this day would come. And now, it's time to fight back." She pointed toward the largest ship in the hangar, a massive vessel with the name USS Liberty Dawn written across its hull. "That one's yours, Captain." Ryan stared at the ship. It was beautiful, smooth, powerful, and unlike anything he'd ever seen. Outside, alarms blared. A red light flashed. A voice echoed through the base speakers. "Alert! Alien forces approaching orbit. They're scanning the planet." Dr. Cross turned to Ryan. "You need to get your crew ready. The Liberty Dawn launches tonight." Ryan nodded slowly, his jaw tight. The fear he felt earlier was gone. Now there was only determination. He looked up at the massive ship once more and whispered, "You came to our home. Now we'll show you what humanity can do." As the base lights dimmed and the hangar doors began to open toward the night sky, the first beam of alien light hit the atmosphere above them, bright and deadly. The war for Earth had begun. The hangar lights glowed blue as engineers ran from station to station. The underground base buzzed with energy screens flashing, engines humming, soldiers shouting commands. It felt like the heart of the world had come alive after years of silence. Captain Ryan Carter stood in front of the massive ship, the USS Liberty Dawn. The ship's silver body stretched for hundreds of meters, covered in armor that shimmered like liquid light. It looked more like a dream than a human machine. Dr. Emily Cross stood beside him, tablet in hand. Her voice was calm, but her eyes showed worry. "Ryan," she said, "the Liberty Dawn isn't just a ship. It's the most powerful weapon humanity has ever built." Ryan looked at her. "How many like her do we have?" "7, Emily said. 7 super battleships, built in secret across hidden bases around the world. All under one name, Project Horizon." Ryan couldn't believe what he was hearing. How did the world never find out? Emily smiled sadly. "Because the world didn't want to know. People fear what they don't understand. We kept it hidden for 30 years. Built using reverse-engineered alien tech pieces of ships that crashed in the past. Most people thought those were just stories." Ryan ran his hand along the cold metal of the Liberty Dawn. "So this is why we've been preparing in silence all these years." "Yes," she said quietly. "The Varnoke were always coming. We just didn't know when." As the clock ticked down, soldiers began boarding the Liberty Dawn. Ryan walked through the loading bay, watching his new crew assemble. Some were young pilots barely out of training. Others were veterans who had seen war before. Every face showed the same thing, fear mixed with hope. "Captain on deck," shouted a voice. Ryan nodded at them. "We don't know what's waiting out there," he said firmly. "But we're not fighting for medals or glory. We're fighting for every man, woman, and child on Earth. Failure is not an option." A chorus of voices replied, "Yes, sir." Inside the control room, Ryan took his seat in the captain's chair. The bridge was glowing with blue lights, filled with holographic screens. Through the front window, the massive steel doors of the mountain began to open, revealing a starry sky above. "Engines ready," said Lieutenant Mason, the ship's pilot. "All systems green." Dr. Cross's voice came through the comms. "Captain, your ship is fully charged. The energy core is stable. Just don't push it too hard, it's the first of its kind." Ryan smirked. "Understood, Doctor. We'll treat her gently." The Liberty Dawn lifted from the hangar floor. Dust swirled under its thrusters as it rose higher and higher until it cleared the mountain walls. Then, with a roar, it shot into the night sky, a streak of blue light climbing toward the stars. In orbit, the Earth below looked peaceful, but only from far away. Fires burned across continents, cities were dark, and alien ships moved like black ghosts above the clouds. "Captain," Mason said, "we're detecting enemy ships near the stratosphere. Small ones. Probably scouts." Ryan leaned forward. "Let's see what this ship can do." "Lock targets." Missiles extended from the Liberty Dawn's wings. The alien scouts turned toward them, energy weapons glowing. But before they could fire, the Liberty Dawn unleashed a silent blue beam, slicing one ship in half. The crew cheered. It was the first human victory in space. "Not bad for our first flight," Mason grinned. Ryan allowed himself a small smile. "Let's not celebrate yet. We're just getting started." Meanwhile, back at the mountain base, Dr. Cross studied readings from the alien network. Her eyes widened as she translated the data. "Oh no," she whispered. A technician looked up. "What is it, ma'am?" She stared at the screen. "They're not just invading Earth. They've already taken Mars." The technician blinked. "Mars? But there's only a small research colony there." "Not anymore," she said grimly. "They're using it to build something, a command station, maybe. A bridge to bring in more ships." She hit the comm button. "Get me Captain Carter. Now." Ryan's face appeared on her screen. "Dr. Cross, what's wrong?" "Captain, we've just confirmed the aliens are establishing a base on Mars. If they finish it, they'll control our solar system. You must stop them before that happens." Ryan frowned. "We can't take the whole fleet yet. We're not ready." "You won't be alone," she said. "Other Horizon ships are launching from hidden bases in Australia, Europe, and Alaska. You'll have backup." Ryan nodded. "Understood. Send me the coordinates. We'll strike before they expect it." Hours later, the Liberty Dawn joined the other 6 Horizon ships in orbit. It was the first time in history humanity had a space fleet ready for war. Each ship carried hundreds of crew members, advanced weapons, and plasma shields. Together, they formed the Sentinel Command Fleet, Earth's hidden guardians, now revealed to the stars. Ryan stood at the front window, staring at the distant red glow of Mars. "That's our target," he said softly. "If we win there, Earth has a chance." Dr. Cross's voice came through the speakers. "And if you lose?" Ryan didn't let her finish. "Then we take as many of them down as we can." The room fell silent. Outside, Earth turned slowly beneath them, blue, fragile, beautiful. Ryan clenched his fists and whispered to himself. "They thought we were weak. They were wrong." Suddenly, the radar began to beep. A dark shadow appeared behind the moon, something enormous moving in the darkness. "Captain," Mason said slowly. "I'm reading something big. Very big. It's not one of ours." Ryan turned to the screen. The computer outlined the object's shape, miles long, pulsing with red energy. Emily's voice came through, alarmed. "Captain, that's not a base. That's their mothership." The crew stared in silence as the alien behemoth drifted into view, glowing like a crimson storm. Ryan stood, eyes hard. "Then I guess our secret's out." He looked at his crew. Prepare the weapons. The real war starts now. The alien mothership floated behind the moon like a shadow waiting to strike. It was massive, a black structure covered in glowing red veins, pulsing like a living creature. From its surface, smaller ships detached, spreading out like a swarm of insects toward Earth. On board the USS Liberty Dawn, Captain Ryan Carter stood at the front window, watching the radar light up with red dots. "They're moving," said Lieutenant Mason. "Dozens of ships heading straight for us." Ryan clenched his jaw. "All units, battle stations." The calm blue glow of the ship turned red. Alarms echoed through the halls. Soldiers ran to their posts. The ship's engines roared to life, and the Liberty Dawn turned toward the enemy. Dr. Emily Cross's voice came through the comms from the command base below. "Captain, remember, this will be the first human battle in space. If you win, it will give hope to everyone down here." Ryan nodded. "Understood, Doctor. Let's make history." The alien ships appeared from the darkness, sleek, sharp, and fast. Their weapons charged with crimson light. The moment they locked onto the Liberty Dawn, the first plasma blasts shot across space, leaving bright trails behind. "Evasive maneuvers," Ryan shouted. The Liberty Dawn spun to the side as blue shields flared around the hull. The ship shook from impact. Sparks flew from the ceiling. "Shields holding at 80%. Mason reported. "Return fire," Ryan commanded. Human plasma cannons came alive, firing brilliant blue bolts that tore through the void. 2 alien ships exploded instantly, lighting up the stars. The crew cheered, but Ryan stayed focused. "Keep firing. Don't let them flank us." More alien ships appeared, surrounding the human fleet. The Liberty Dawn wasn't alone. 6 other Horizon ships fought beside it, moving like wolves hunting in a pack. Over the radio, Captain Vega from the ship Solar Lance shouted, "We're hit. Engines failing." Ryan turned to his weapons officer. "Cover them. Full barrage on the ships at Grid 7. Dozens of missiles streaked through the darkness, exploding across the alien formation. 3 more enemy ships broke apart, leaving trails of burning debris. But the victory didn't last long. The mothership began to move. It fired a massive red beam that cut through space, hitting one of the human ships, the Starlight. The explosion was blinding. The Starlight was gone in seconds. Ryan's heart sank. They just wiped out a ship in one hit. Dr. Cross's voice came through again, tense. "Ryan, that weapon uses energy drawn from Earth's atmosphere. They're draining our planet to power their cannons." Ryan's eyes widened. "Then we stop them now or Earth dies slowly." Inside the Liberty Dawn, the crew worked fast. Sparks flew, alarms blared, but no one gave up. "Target the mothership's energy lines," Ryan ordered. "Those glowing veins on the hull, that's their power system." "Locked," Mason said. "Fire all plasma cannons." Blue light flashed across the darkness. The Liberty Dawn's shots hit the mothership's outer hull, causing several red veins to burst open. For the first time, the giant alien ship seemed to react, shifting backward as if in pain. The crew cheered again, hope rising. Ryan's voice was calm but fierce. "We can hurt it. Keep pushing." Then, suddenly, a distress signal appeared on the screen. "It's from Mars," shouted the communications officer. Ryan looked up sharply. "Mars? Who's there?" Dr. Cross replied, her face pale on the monitor. "The research colony. They're still alive but barely. The Varnoke are attacking them too." Static filled the line, followed by a terrified voice. "This is Mars Colony 1, we're under fire. They're building something massive." The transmission cut out. Ryan slammed his fist against the console. "Damn it!" Emily's voice came through again. "Ryan, we just intercepted alien data. They're constructing a second mothership at the Mars site." If it launches, Earth is finished. Ryan looked at the burning alien ships outside. We can't fight two motherships. You don't have a choice, she said quietly. You have to split the fleet. Ryan took a deep breath. All right. We'll send half our ships to Mars. The rest will hold the line here. Captain Vega's voice came over the radio. Ryan, we'll take the Mars team. You handle the mothership. Understood, Ryan said. And Vega, don't die out there. Vega laughed weakly. You first, brother. The screen went dark as Vega's ships turned toward Mars, vanishing into the distance. Minutes later, the Liberty Dawn faced the mothership head-on. Power readings rising again. Mason warned. They're charging that giant weapon. Ryan's eyes hardened. Then we hit first. He pressed the command button. Fire the quantum lance. A deep vibration filled the ship. The Liberty Dawn's main cannon charged, glowing brighter and brighter until it fired a massive blue beam cutting through the stars. The shot hit the mothership's core, shaking it violently. For a moment, it looked like the alien ship was about to explode, but then, its red glow reignited stronger than before. Emily's voice came through, panicked. Ryan, the mothership is regenerating. It's pulling metal from its own drones to rebuild. Ryan gritted his teeth. They're adapting to our weapons. Suddenly, static filled the radio. A deep, distorted alien voice broke through the noise. Human, your fight is meaningless. Your fleet will serve the Varnoke. The entire bridge went silent. Ryan stared at the speakers. They're speaking to us. Surrender your ships, the voice continued, and we may let your world live as slaves. Ryan leaned forward, his voice steady. You made one mistake, alien. And what is that? Ryan's eyes burned with determination. You underestimated humanity. He hit the comm switch. All ships full attack. Give them everything we've got. The Liberty Dawn and the remaining Horizon ships opened fire, filling the void with blue energy beams and missiles. The mothership fired back, lighting up the darkness like a storm of red fire. The two forces collided in a breathtaking explosion of light and sound. When the smoke cleared, one of the alien destroyers exploded, but so did one of the human ships. Captain! Mason shouted. We've lost the Silver Wing. Multiple casualties. Ryan's voice stayed strong. Keep fighting. For Earth. The Liberty Dawn dove beneath the mothership, firing directly into its underbelly. Pieces of alien armor broke away, drifting into space like burning shards. Then, just as the humans began to gain ground, one of the Liberty Dawn's side screens flashed red. Warning, internal explosion detected. The bridge shook violently. A fire burst out behind Ryan. Damage report, he yelled. Engineering deck hit someone, triggered an overload. Ryan froze. That's not possible. We locked all systems. Dr. Cross's voice came through, trembling. Ryan, someone inside your ship is sending signals to the aliens. Ryan's blood ran cold. A traitor. Smoke filled the bridge of the USS Liberty Dawn. Alarms screamed. Red lights flashed across every console. Sparks flew from broken panels as crew members struggled to regain control. Engineering deck is hit, shouted Lieutenant Mason. Fire in sections 3 and 4. Ryan gripped the railing tightly. His voice cut through the chaos. Seal those sections. Evacuate anyone left. The ship shook again, throwing people off balance. The massive alien mothership outside had turned its main cannon toward them. Red light built around the weapon's core, glowing brighter each second. Captain, Mason said quietly, they're charging up again. Ryan's eyes narrowed. Then we end this before they do. In the underground base beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Emily Cross stared at her monitors. The data made her stomach twist. God, she whispered. The mothership's charging something enormous. If it fires, it'll destroy half the planet. Her assistant looked up in fear. Half the planet? Are you sure? Emily nodded grimly. They're using energy from the sun. It's not just a weapon, it's a planetary annihilator. She opened a secure channel to the Liberty Dawn. Ryan, listen carefully. You have one chance. If that weapon fires, Earth is gone. Ryan's voice came through, full of static. Then give me an option, Emily. How do we stop it? She hesitated. You'll have to destroy the mothership's power core from the inside. There's no other way. Ryan stared at the main screen showing the alien ship's enormous red core pulsing like a beating heart. You mean we have to go in there? Yes, Emily said. But there's something else. We've detected a strange signal from inside their system. It matches human tech signatures. That means someone is helping them, from your ship. Ryan froze. A traitor. He turned to Mason. Lock down all communication systems. No one sends or receives anything without my approval. Mason nodded and started typing fast. Ryan's voice dropped. Find out who it is. Quietly. Minutes later, Ryan and a small team boarded a stealth shuttle. The Liberty Dawn provided cover fire as the small craft flew toward the alien mothership's surface. The alien hull was dark, full of glowing red scars from battle. Ryan's second officer, Lieutenant Harper, looked nervous. Sir, if this thing explodes, we're not making it out. Ryan gave a small smile. Then we'll make sure it explodes the right way. They entered through a crack in the hull. The shuttle landed inside a vast alien hangar, empty and silent. The air shimmered with strange energy. As they stepped out, Harper whispered, "This place feels alive." The walls pulsed faintly, almost like breathing. Ryan pointed forward. Stay focused. The power core should be near the center of the ship. Move. Back on the Liberty Dawn, Mason worked fast. He traced the unauthorized signal Emily had detected. The trail led to one of the high-security rooms, the communication deck. When he entered, he saw Admiral Coleman, the senior officer from the Sentinel Command, standing before a console. Coleman turned sharply, surprise flashing across his face. Mason, he said calmly. You shouldn't be here. Mason frowned. Sir, what are you doing? Coleman smiled coldly. Finishing what we started. He pressed a button, and Mason's screen filled with alien symbols. Coleman's voice grew colder. The Varnoke don't need to destroy us. They just need control. A peaceful surrender and humanity survives. Mason's eyes widened. You're helping them. Coleman nodded. It's the only way. Mason shook his head. No. It's betrayal. Coleman raised a small plasma pistol. You don't understand. This war is already lost. Before he could fire, Mason lunged at him. The two men struggled. The weapon fell and slid across the floor. A shot went off, striking a console and setting off sparks. Mason grabbed the gun and fired once. The blast hit Coleman square in the chest. The Admiral collapsed, his final words a whisper. They promised peace. Mason stood there, shaking, as the room filled with the smell of smoke. Then he turned back to the console and shut down the signal. Captain, he said through the radio, his voice steady but tired. We found the traitor. It's over. Inside the mothership, Ryan's team reached a vast chamber. In the center stood a glowing sphere, the alien power core, pulsing with blinding light. Ryan stared at it. That's it? Their heart. He took out a small metallic device, the fusion bomb. Harper looked at him nervously. Sir, that thing will vaporize the entire ship. That's the point, Ryan said quietly. Set the timer for 5 minutes. As they placed the bomb near the core, Alien guards appeared tall, armored, and armed with energy blades. "Contact," shouted one of the soldiers. A fierce firefight erupted. Plasma bolts cut through the air. Ryan ducked behind a pillar and fired back. The aliens moved fast, their armor reflecting blue light. One of Ryan's men was hit. He screamed and fell. "Keep them off me!" Ryan yelled as he armed the bomb. Seconds felt like hours. Finally, the timer beeped, armed and counting down. "Go!" Ryan shouted. The team ran toward the shuttle, fighting through more aliens. Explosions shook the corridor behind them as the mothership's systems began to overload. Back on the Liberty Dawn, Mason watched their signal moving through the alien ship. "Come on, Captain," he muttered. "You've got 2 minutes left." Dr. Cross's voice trembled over the radio. "If they don't make it out in time." "They will," Mason said firmly. "They have to." Inside the alien ship, Ryan's team reached the shuttle bay. One last alien blocked their path, massive and armed with dual plasma swords. Ryan stepped forward. "Go." "I'll hold him off." Harper hesitated. "Sir." "That's an order." Ryan charged, firing his rifle. The alien roared and swung. Ryan dodged, barely missing the strike. He rolled, aimed, and fired at the alien's weapon core. It exploded, blinding the room. Ryan dove into the shuttle as Harper pulled him inside. "Punch it," he shouted. The shuttle blasted out of the hangar, racing into space just as the bomb detonated. The explosion was like a second sun. The alien mothership burst apart in a storm of red and white fire. The shock wave spread across space, scattering debris for miles. On the Liberty Dawn, the crew watched in silence. Then cheers erupted across the bridge. "They did it!" Mason shouted. "The mothership is gone." Emily's voice came through, full of emotion. "Ryan, you saved Earth." Ryan sat back in his chair, breathing hard. "Not yet," he said softly. "Not until we know it's really over." He looked out at the stars, watching the last pieces of the alien ship burn away. The explosion from the alien mothership still burned across the void, a bright wound in space that slowly faded into silence. For a moment, everything was still. The battle was over. Inside the USS Liberty Dawn, Captain Ryan Carter stood on the bridge, covered in dust and sweat. His uniform was torn, his face pale, but his eyes were alive. Around him, his crew sat in stunned silence, watching pieces of the alien mothership drift away like ashes. Lieutenant Mason spoke softly, "It's really gone." "They're all gone." Ryan nodded slowly. "We did it." The crew erupted into cheers. Some laughed, some cried. For the first time in months, humanity had won. Ryan closed his eyes for a moment. He could almost feel the weight lifting, the fear, the noise, the endless fighting. It was over. Or at least, it seemed to be. Down on Earth, cities burned quietly under gray skies. But amid the destruction, survivors came out from shelters, staring up at the heavens. News stations broadcast the same headline across the planet. "Alien mothership destroyed. Humanity fights back." Children waved tattered flags. Soldiers hugged each other. People in ruined streets cried tears of relief. For the first time, Earth had hope again. In the underground command base, Dr. Emily Cross watched the victory footage with tears in her eyes. "You did it, Ryan," she whispered. A young officer smiled. "We're alive, Doctor. We actually did it." Emily's smile faded a little. "Yes, but at what cost?" She turned to her screen. The data from the alien mothership's last transmission was still flashing strange signals, coordinates, and one repeating phrase in the alien code. "Phase 2, prepare the others." Her stomach tightened. "They weren't the only fleet," she said quietly. Hours later, the Liberty Dawn descended into Earth's atmosphere. The sky glowed red and gold from the sunrise. Smoke rose from cities below, but it was peaceful. No enemy ships, no more explosions. The ship landed near the Colorado base. Crowds of soldiers, engineers, and civilians gathered to watch. They cheered as Ryan and his crew stepped out, waving to them. Dr. Cross was waiting. When Ryan approached, she smiled warmly. "You made it back." "Mostly in one piece," he said, smiling tiredly. "I think the Liberty Dawn needs a long nap." She laughed softly. "You and your crew deserve one too." Then her smile faded. "Ryan, there's something I have to tell you." He frowned. "What's wrong?" She handed him a tablet showing alien data. Before the mothership was destroyed, it sent out a long-range signal. "We tracked it. It's heading beyond our solar system toward deep space." Ryan's expression darkened. "You think more are coming?" Emily nodded. "The Varnoke fleet we fought was just the first wave. There are others. Stronger ones." Ryan looked toward the horizon, where the morning light touched the mountains. "Then this isn't the end." "No," Emily said softly. "It's the beginning of a bigger war." That night, the Liberty Dawn was silent. The crew rested, though many couldn't sleep. They had seen too much. Ryan walked alone through the empty hangar. The sound of his boots echoed against the metal floor. He stopped before the massive hull of the Liberty Dawn, now scarred from battle. He ran his hand along the cold metal. "You held together," he whispered. "You kept us alive." Behind him, Mason entered quietly. "Couldn't sleep either." Ryan shook his head. "Too many ghosts." Mason looked up at the ship. "Do you think we can win if they come back?" Ryan thought for a moment. "We're not the same people we were before. We've seen what's out there. We built what they didn't expect. And we'll keep building." He turned to Mason with a small smile. "Next time they come, we'll be ready." Weeks passed. Earth began to rebuild. Nations worked together like never before, sharing technology, rebuilding cities, forming a united defense. For the first time in history, humanity wasn't divided by borders or flags. Project Horizon became public. People called the 7 hidden ships the Guardians of Earth. Statues were built for the fallen. Songs were written about the battle. And deep in orbit, a new fleet began to form, ships bigger and stronger than ever before. Dr. Cross stood in the new command center, looking at a hologram of Earth surrounded by blue defense lines. Ryan entered, wearing a clean uniform for the first time in weeks. "Still at work, Doctor," he said with a smile. She turned to him. "Always. The Varnoke signal is still active. We're tracing its source. It's coming from a system beyond Alpha Centauri." Ryan crossed his arms. "That's far, but not unreachable." Emily looked at him. "Are you suggesting what I think you are?" Ryan smiled faintly. "We spent our whole lives hiding. Maybe it's time we take the fight to them." Emily stared at him for a long moment. Then she nodded slowly. "Then we'd better start preparing." Outside, the Liberty Dawn floated above Earth, repaired and shining in orbit. New ships surrounded her, the beginning of Horizon Fleet 2. Ryan's voice echoed through the command channel. "This is Captain Carter of the USS Liberty Dawn. To all ships, we fought for survival. Now we fight for freedom. Humanity stands united and we're done hiding." Cheers erupted across the channels. The fleet turned toward the stars, engines glowing blue. Far away, in the dark of deep space, red eyes flickered to life. Alien voices whispered through static. "Humanity survived, interesting. They will not survive the next wave." Thousands of alien ships began to awaken, their lights spreading like fire across the void. Back on Earth, Ryan stood at the observation window of the Liberty Dawn, watching the planet slowly turn below. The sunrise painted the oceans gold. He whispered to himself. We were invaded, but we didn't break. We became stronger. He looked toward the distant stars where the enemy waited. They wanted to conquer humanity, he said softly. Now humanity is coming for them. The Liberty Dawn's engines ignited, and the fleet began to move, rising from orbit like a new dawn breaking across the stars. End of story. Milky Way, the dawn of a new era. Humanity fought. Humanity survived. Humanity rises.